And now, all the way to New Zealand, I want to welcome Dr. Sheree Trotter, the co-director of the Indigenous Coalition for Israel and co-founder of the Holocaust and Antisemitism Foundation, New Zealand. Welcome.
Kia ora koutou and shalom. I'm speaking to you from the far ends of the earth in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm honoured to be joining the Combat Anti-Semitism movement today as one voice among many coming together to stand against anti-Semitism. I'm Dr. Sheree Trotter, the co-director of the Indigenous Embassy of Jerusalem. I'm an Indigenous person from Aotearoa, New Zealand, a Māori from the Te Arawa tribe. In February 2024, my co-director, Honourable Alfred Ngaroa, and I launched the Indigenous Embassy Jerusalem at the Friends of Zion Museum in Jerusalem. This was a project spearheaded by former Deputy Mayor of Jerusalem, Fleur Hassan-Nahum. The Indigenous Embassy Jerusalem was officially announced as the 5th embassy in Jerusalem and the 100th embassy in Israel. We had a remarkable opening event where many of the Indigenous of the nations came to express solidarity with Israel in a time of war. The Indigenous Embassy Jerusalem provides Indigenous peoples of the nations a platform to collectively stand with Israel and to fight anti-Semitism. It gives us a mechanism to work within our nations to strengthen our Indigenous networks and build the relationships between the Jewish and Indigenous peoples and to combat the lies that lead to Jew hatred. We recognise that one of the most prevalent forms of anti-Semitism today is anti-Zionism, that it has exploded since the 7th of October 2023. Israelis were portrayed as foreign white colonisers who had dispossessed the so-called Indigenous Palestinians. Hamas barbarism was called justified resistance against, quote, 70 years of colonialist oppression, end quote. We recognise that this false narrative, which has taken hold in the public imagination of Western nations, had its birth within Western academia and from there has taken hold in mainstream media, politics, social media and general culture. For this reason, one of the goals of the Indigenous Embassy of Jerusalem is to confront this problem within academia. We've just held an academic symposium in Jerusalem where we gathered some of the world's top academics and scholars to dismantle the lies, set out the true history, and build a body of material to confront these false narratives. One of our goals is to fight back by holding academic events throughout the world. The fact is, Jews are the Indigenous people of the land of Israel. Jews have more than 3,000 years of connection to the land of Israel and the city of Jerusalem. It was there that the Jewish people developed their unique culture and religious practices. They clearly fulfill the criteria of Indigenous peoples, even by the UN's own definitions. Further, many of our Indigenous peoples identify strongly with the suffering of the Jewish people throughout history, the discrimination, persecution, dispossession, expulsion from lands, and murder. After the dreadful events of the Holocaust, the Jewish nation was reborn. We as Indigenous people see Israel as an inspiration. We are encouraged by the revitalization of the Hebrew language and see Israel as a model of self-determination. Israel is a light to the nations, and we are proud to stand with Israel and affirm her Indigenous status in her ancestral homeland.